What's going on, everybody? I've got my new Glock Performance trigger. I put this in the Glock 45, and I've had it for a few months. Finally had the opportunity or made the time to put some rounds through it. As you can probably see from my light. Probably got about 2,500 rounds through this trigger, probably 5,000 total through this gun. Put a few through it before I put the trigger, and wanted to do a quick video on my initial thoughts, any issues I've got, my kind of honest assessment, and also take the opportunity to put this on a trigger pull weight gauge beside several other Glock options, some other generations, some other triggers to the Timney Alpha trigger, and see what the actual pull weight is like or comparable to. So here's the Glock 45 in, obviously it's a Gen 5. 45, if you don't know, it's got the Glock 17 frame with the Glock 19, half inch or 0.49 inch, maybe specific shorter barrel and slide. So you've got the full size frame with a slightly shorter slide. I really like this platform. You lose some of the sight radius that everybody used to be so excited about, but when you're shooting with a dot, I don't think that makes any difference at all. And I just really like how this gun handles and performs. So here's the Glock 45 with the Glock Performance trigger. Let's see what kind of pull weight we've got here. There's a 310. I might have overpulled that a little bit. I think they advertise 3.5 to 4 pounds, and that's 312. That's pretty much what I've got off camera. I've gotten as low as like 3.4 into the 312, 313 range. So I'm going to say, 3 3/4, somewhere in that range pull weight. Here is a Gen 5 Glock 17, totally stock. No minus connectors, no nothing on here. Let's see what it pulls at. 415, so just under 5 pounds. 4.6, a little lighter. 415, so just under 5 pounds as expected with a totally stock Gen 5 Glock. Here's another one. Here's a Gen 5 17. This one does have a minus connector in it. So just for fun, let's compare that. This gun also probably has about 10,000 rounds through it. 4.1, so it's a pound lighter. 4.4, so a slightly lighter than the stock, totally stock Glock trigger. A little heavier as expected than the performance trigger. And again, that gun probably has twice as many rounds through it. Here's a Glock 19X. It's got probably 50,000 rounds through it, and it's got a minus connector. 5.5. Surprised that's as heavy as it is, to be honest. Pretty consistent. So 5.5 on the 19X. Here's my little 43X, just as a fun comparison. 4.5. 5. So let's do a third one on that. 4.8. So 4.5 pounds for the 43X. Here's the Timney Alpha. Their new Glock Performance trigger, I guess. And this is in a Gen 4 34. So let's see where that stacks up to the new Glock Performance trigger. 3.4. So that's a little lighter. 3.7. I think I overpulled that a little bit. 3.6. So 3.6. It's slightly a lighter pull than the Glock Performance trigger. And I wanted to do my staccato too, just to show you. This trigger feels 10 times better than any of these. However, the actual pull weight, as advertised, is right at 5 pounds. There's just almost no take up, and it's just such a clean break. It feels better just because it's a different trigger system. But so back to the Glock Performance trigger. I am a big fan. It feels, when I compare that to the Timney Alpha, one, just because it's a Glock product and it's in a Glock gun, I have more confidence that it's not going to fail than the Timney. Timney's a great company. They make good stuff, and I use a lot of their stuff. I just like keeping my Glock with factory parts if possible, because it seems to always work no matter what. That being said, I've never had an issue with the Timney. My biggest complaint with the Timney is trigger feels pretty good. It's definitely not a Glock feel when you pull it. The break is okay. The reset, in my opinion, is terrible. It's very light, and I feel like you almost have to get off the trigger and get back on it. I can't really shoot the reset very well on this, and maybe I just need to practice a lot more, or I'm used to the Glock. But I find myself, when I'm trying to shoot the reset, I'm pulling the trigger, or pulling the dead trigger twice, because it doesn't have a very positive or forced reset. There's a spring in this takedown pin that basically pushes the trigger forward after the gun goes off, and so it's a pretty flimsy, in my opinion, little spring that's pushing that trigger forward. I could probably upgrade that or double the spring and have a better reset, but that's not how it was designed. The Glock Performance feels very much like Glock. It's got a similar, maybe a little less take up than the Glock stock trigger, and a much cleaner and easier break, a pound and a half less pressure. And it's got a very nice positive reset. Also, and this is just my personal opinion, again, I didn't have any issues with thousands and thousands of rounds through each. Haven't had any issue with either. The Glock factory trigger, to me, still feels very much like a Glock. And so when I go back to a stock Glock trigger, I don't know. There doesn't feel like there's a learning curve or much of a transition to go back from one to the other, like with the Timney. The Timney is very much an aftermarket trigger. Feels different, works different. Internals are all different. It's a good trigger. I don't think it's as good as the Glock Performance trigger. It costs more, and I don't think it's as good. I will be putting some Glock Performance triggers on other pistols, I believe. But that being said, I can take this out to the range and shoot, and then switch and grab this stock 17 and shoot. And yes, I can tell there's a difference in the trigger, but it's not so drastic that it takes me, half an hour or 2 magazines of shooting to adjust from one trigger to the other. It's very much a Glock trigger, just a little bit better, a little bit lighter, and I'm so far a big fan. Recommend it. If you've got have the opportunity, go try one. I think they're $100, $120, and it's a pretty big, in my opinion, pretty nice upgrade if you've got a Glock and you don't absolutely love the trigger, which most people that shoot Glocks, that is one of their complaints. So if you got the opportunity, check one out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and hope you enjoyed the video.